Mm. So it seems like with what you've described, once the brain has got a certain pattern, a certain, it's just like, when you're trying to dig a trench,
Yeah,
you have to dig it to make that trench so that if there's water flowing, it can go through there. And as the water is flowing, it gets deeper,
yeah,
sort of erosion. Um, so it seems like in order to change any sort of ways of thinking, because being a codependent person it becomes, apart from the way you feel about it, it becomes the way you see things, the way you think about things. So, well, if I do it this way, then I'll receive it this way.
yeah.
And with what you've described, it seems like changing is not easy if you've built years of acting a certain way, if you
Exactly.
create a pattern. So changing from being a codependent person is an extra effort, isn't it, really?
Extra effort. You know what makes it harder?
Hmm.
It's harder because we live in a world where people take advantage of it for
Yeah.
their own benefit.
Hmm.
So they'll take advantage of it, saying that they're trying to help you,
Hmm.
and what they use to control you is guilt.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that makes it harder for people to overcome. Because what happens is those people start to feel worthless, guilty, you know, not good enough. Because the environment is set up that way so they feel not good enough to benefit from their weaknesses.
Yeah.
Hence why I said the only way to to overcome that stuff is therapy.
Yeah.
You
It's not
know,
the only way as well. Perhaps people can help for
and
those who,
people, the right
yeah,
people.
yeah, the right people, because it's not just if someone cannot afford. Because let's be honest, in this world, to even seek help can cost you money.
A lot. Yeah.
And isn't, I mean, if you can afford to, or if you have that available, I think it's something that should be done.
Yeah.
But also having good people around you who can help you, because changing that way of thinking is not something that changes in 1 week or
It
2 weeks.
it doesn't.
Because it's funny, for the longest time in my life growing up, I was more of a yes person. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. When you start learning how to say no, and that's not because you want to be selfish, say
Yeah.
no for the right reason, because you need to look after yourself, you
Yeah.
need to set boundaries. The first time I thought, no, no, it felt uncomfortable. It was
Yeah. It
like,
doesn't feel right.
yeah, it's like, oh, because you constantly thinking of others. That's part of my personality anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone is struggling, I think of them. So to have to be a codependent person as well, it made it worse.
Yeah.
So even when I said no, it's like, wow.
You know, and sometimes if you say no to people who know that you are,
Hmm.
they tap into another part of you
Hmm.
that that is weak. So
Yeah.
you say no, and they make you feel like a bad person. Like they'll say, for instance, like you said, you're always thinking about others. I do not like being selfish. Yeah. If you ask me to do something, I'm gonna do it. If you ask me for something, if I can do it, I'll do it. But people that know that, let's say they go too far. And I remember there was an instance where I was going somewhere and somebody wanted something from somewhere in another direction. So I had to go up and I couldn't do it. And I just said, nah, I can't do it. And the person called me selfish.
And
And
you know you're not selfish. It must have
hmm,
hit you, though. It must have hit you when they called you that, perhaps.
funny enough, I think I was reaching a stage where it didn't bother me as much. But if it was early in my life and I heard it, it would stay with me. Whereas when I heard it then, it's not like it didn't stay with me because I'm telling you it right now, right? So it did stay with me to some level, but it didn't impact me to go out of my way afterwards. But even after that, I've done it anyway. I've still done it. So even after even after that event, there've been times where I'm not going to do something, But then after a while, your brain goes, nah, dude, you know, and then you end up doing it, you know? So people that know this about you, they know the thing is, the genius thing about it and the bad thing about it is that, just as I explained, it can be used against you, and in such a way, because these people know that you don't like being a bad person. And I've always said, well, I'm saying it from now onwards, never be scared to be the villain, because you know who you are. And people that want to take advantage will try to villainize you, to control you, to do what they want.
Exactly. And I want to stop you there for 1 minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go on.
But when they say words like you're selfish or like, oh, what you did is wrong, you get defensive straight away, don't you?
Straight away. Yeah. Because there's a part of you that knows that there's a part of you that knows what's happening, but the person saying it knows that you know it's going to hit a chord and you're going to question yourself.
Yeah.
So you know for 99% of the time when you've been selfless, yeah, you know that. But the time that somebody calls you selfish, you're going to sit and think about it all the time. Was I selfish? Can I do more? Can I be better? You know, you see what I'm saying? And the other person is going, good, got them where I want them. You know, so that's the flip side of the coin of saying no, and how people can attack that. You know, like people know, the people that, you know, the people I'm talking about, the people, they know what to do. And if that doesn't work, they will say, oh, but I thought you really liked me, or I thought we had a deep friendship. They play that card afterwards.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, that's unlike you. And you
That's
think,
unlike you. Yeah.
yes. And then it start making you wondering and evaluating the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And perhaps if you're not careful, once they say those words, you will change your decision.
Yeah.
From a no to a yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so we touched on personal experiences briefly about how, you know, I feel like I've been that way, low self-esteem, relying on others for confirmation.
Yeah.
You've experienced it yourself, and it's constant work. Just because we're having this discussion doesn't mean that we are it. We are like, you know. So the question I really wanted to ask is, how do you feel now? Because you told me the experience about when you were going somewhere, someone told you to go out of your way to do something for them. You said no. And even though you said no and they called you selfish, you know, you didn't let it get to you too much. But how has it been going the other way, respecting yourself, believing in yourself, not thinking that if someone said you're selfish means you are selfish because you know yourself?
Yeah.
How has it been like for you now that you're working towards, you know, being more confident in yourself?
Life has been, to be honest with you, much better. Because it's actually tough to explain. Actually, no, here's the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
Once you start changing, because if you would realize that if you're in that mode, everything around you is set up to leech you. Yeah. So if you're still like that, you would be in a job that's just leeching you, and your pockets are empty. Yeah. You'd be in a relationship that's leeching you, and you're not getting the healthy love or affection or respect that you deserve, right? Everything around you, you start to attract the most toxic, you know, people play, like, you know what I mean, right?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Right. When you change, that stuff falls away. And when that stuff falls away, you then start to understand yourself. Because when you're there, you don't know who you are.
No.
You have no clue who you are. Your personality is being relayed to you by external people, places, whatever. They're telling you who you are.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right.
And that's what codependency is, isn't it? You
Yeah.
are waiting for people to say you are good, you are
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
They're telling you everything, and you're going, maybe that's me. Yeah. So that's gaslighting. They're creating a straw man image. Yeah, and saying, see this straw man, this is you. Ignore you. This straw man is you. Right. Once you start to get that once you remove yourself from that realm and you start to believe in yourself and grow, you start to look at this straw man and go, who the hell is this? You throw it away. And the moment you throw it away, you start to see yourself and you're like, whoa, hey, you start to learn who you are. Like, oh, I didn't know this about me. And then you, the person that you were supposed to be, starts to come out.
100%. Slowly. It's like
slowly. And while you're doing that, everyone around that benefited from you looking at the straw man tries even harder to get you to look at the straw man, or say, like, make you feel guilty, tell you that bad things are going to happen to you, you're worthless, you need us, all sorts of different things, right? You start to realize, or they go, oh, you're abandoning me, or I thought we were friends, or what I mean? It all comes up. But as time goes on and you learn more and more about yourself, you begin to grow into the person that you're supposed to be. And life around you gets better. The things that you don't necessarily get, the things, because even though you've changed, it doesn't mean that you don't desire it. The things that made you codependent, they don't just go away once you have changed. You still desire things, but the difference now is, I'm going to give an example. Yeah. Old me, new me. I've always been looking for, like, to get a good job in what I like to do, right? It's been a struggle. And the times I have gotten it, I've walked into a codependent, narcissistic dynamic where I've given a lot and got nothing in return. So that was old me, right? New me now, let's say I'm still looking for work or whatever. I've been in a situation where I would have spoken to someone and everything was so great and gravy, and the things that were required of me are things I like to do. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool. This sounds cool. But you're learning what you've learned from the past. You begin to pick up the signs. You start looking at, but you don't know it because it's subconscious. You look at things, you go, okay, this is too good to be true, but whatever. And you talk more and more and more, and then it comes to the person is telling you all the nicest things, like, start with me, and in 4 months you'll be a king and earning billions, and and I just want to help, yada yada yada. All this stuff that will make you feel, and oh, your work is excellent, and I can see you, all that stuff, because they know that's what you're looking for. That's what you always want, the validation. Yeah. So they bring it first, and then after, so what's the pay? This minimum wage. But you'll be, you in the future. Like, hold on, the past me were like, oh man, that's low. But you know what? They're so impressed with me that if I work hard and give my all, as time goes on, I will. That doesn't happen. They will go, oh, good work, good work, good work. We'll be making money soon, and in a month's time, and then months turn into years, and years turn into decades. They might give you a little raise here and there, but it's nothing like, to sniff at. But me now, if a person says that, oh, is minimum wage, and you know that what you're doing should never be on minimum wage. Yeah. Me now, I'm like, huh? No, actually, let me be real. Me now would be like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't dispute it. And the codependent part was still kicking.
100%.
Yeah. But then afterwards,
you think,
and the new me kicks in going like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Do
100%.
it.
Yeah. No. You hit the nail on the head. And it's okay sometimes if you're a codependent person, you're working through it,
Yeah.
that the old side might come out sometimes. And when
Yeah.
it comes, the sooner you realize it, the better for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could lead you, the old you will lead you to being in something for years.
Yeah.
Years, not months,
years
before it kicks in and says, oh, maybe I'm not valued here anymore.
Yeah.
And that's after years.
Yeah. And then afterwards, what happens is that when the same thing comes along again, of course, you're still going to be fooled, but now it won't be years. It might be weeks. After weeks, you'll be like, whoa, no, this is nonsense. Step aside. Yeah. Or even with the example of the job, it might take hours. You sit, you think about it, you go, no. And you reply and say, no, here's what I can do. And when you present something that's reasonable, even below reasonable, but just benefits you a little bit, yeah, they will say, no, sorry. Yeah. And you go, oh, okay.
Exactly. It's interesting you're talking about work as well, because I was in a job where the manager said to me, they put me in a position whereby I'm doing a scale up.
Yeah.
But they said, you cover because the person supposed to cover is not available. They're still going to pay me the same. But after this project is completed, we will promote you. So I did this project for like a good 9 months. I was leading a small team to install, football pitches and stuff like that. It came to an end, went into the office, had a chat with the boss. I'm like, what's going on? And he was coming up with excuses. And, the position that I was doing, next thing I know, someone is being interviewed for it. And then I didn't mind then, but when I said I didn't mind, it didn't click. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Later on, one day I was working and I thought, oh, I'm going to leave. That's how the decision came to me. It did not come to plan. In fact, I did not go to work that day.
Yeah.
Thinking it was after a year that I thought, oh, my time is being wasted here, because yes, you want to progress. No one is working to stay at the same place.
No.
And you've promised something, just because I've said yes to something that really I should have been paid more for, and I've done it for a year.
Yeah.
So when he walked into the office, said to him, I'm out. And he spoke to me for an hour trying to convince me to stay. This is the weird thing with people who are codependent. When they do realize, unfortunately, most of the time it's late.
Yeah.
But when they do realize, it's almost difficult to change their mind, because they've put up with a lot.
It takes a long time to get there, because even in the early stages, your mind can be changed over and over and over again. But it's when
because I'm still getting, sorry to stop you, I'll still get a little, oh, well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great project. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just to tell you, like, boss. Yeah. But yeah, is you brought up a point, yeah? Do you not find it fascinating that people who devalue you for their own purposes, they do it on purpose to keep you down here so they can control you, so they can keep taking? Yeah. When you do decide, I'm done, how do they respond?
They don't respond positively. In fact, when I spoke to him, because at that time I was still living with my mom, he said to me, what would your mom think? I'm thinking, what do you mean, what would my mom think? Because he knew my situation, that me working, I contribute to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now he's thinking, oh, you leaving? You're not going to be okay. You can afford to help with your family. So he started bringing things in, because it's like something that I confided in him for. He brought that up. It did make me think, but I was truly done. And even though he said that, I didn't let that affect me. But what I'm saying is that the way they react, they start to pick on things they've learned about you. As we said before, oh, this is not like you. You are not usually like this. Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
The response is not great.
Yeah. And not only that, on top of that, all of a sudden, you are the best thing on the planet. oh, you can't leave. Like, what if I give you everything that you ever wanted?
100%.
What
It's
if?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this was earlier. This is my first experience. But funny enough, after I left,
yeah,
after 2 weeks, I got a phone call saying, "So, are you coming back?" As if to say, I have not just told them that I'm done.
yeah,
And I said, "No, I'm done."
yeah,
He was thinking that in a couple of weeks, maybe I'll calm down and change my, my viewpoint,
yeah,
like,
yeah. He can,
because he knows I'm a bit soft.
yeah, and he could tell
He
you
knew.
he can tell you good, he could tell you things like, I'll raise your pay and this and that, thinking,
Yeah.
okay, no, I just sit back and wait,
Yeah.
And he's like, hold
Funny
on,
enough, in this experience, it wasn't even about it because the pay one is my second experience.
yeah,
But the first one was purely based on he thought that I would still come back
yeah,
because that job was a very secure job. So he's
yeah,
thinking, yeah, I know he said this to me. Give him a couple of weeks.
yeah,
Well, it's been years now. I haven't been back.
yeah,
But it's interesting, Adrian, because after that experience, I still went back to being the same old person again,
yeah,
entering another place, doing the best. Not immediately after, but down the line, I still got a job. I'm experiencing what I do. I'm qualified for it. I'm good at it, and I know I'm good at it, but not overly confident because I still have
of
that
course,
personality, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
So after I was there for a while, I'm looking at people getting a little bit more than I'm getting, even though I'm experienced, and I let that go. In fact, it was an information that I was not meant to know, but I knew, and I thought, okay, you know what? So went to the manager, said to the manager, "This is how much you pay me. I'm going to leave because I don't think that's enough.
yeah,
I'm leaving." And then they're like, "Oh, why would you want to leave?" And then he said, "I employ you for the whole year because the job that I do is seasonal." So he's saying to me, in the winter months, I still give you work and you are very fortunate to have this job in a sense.
mm.
I do that out of kindness. Like he's basically saying to me, I could let you go when the season is done and maybe use someone else. I don't know. But he's basic. And I said, okay, look, if you want, I could leave. I could leave now. And
Yeah,
then it hit him
yeah,
out of nowhere. I got a message saying, okay, cool, I agree with you. Now that pay that I demanded, this is how interesting it is.
yeah,
It was not what I was meant to get even. It was just like, okay, let's make some progress. So another year later, I'm like, listen, like I'm really qualified and I'm paying my own taxes.
yeah,
So even if someone was to pay you, let's say 100, you need to make sure that you are taking at least 25 pounds, 20 pounds out of it. So really that's not what you're getting if you're doing your own tax.
yeah,
So anyway, went up to him. This time I didn't want to even negotiate prices at this stage.
yeah,
Yet again, you stay for years, don't you?
yeah,
Went up to him, I said, I'm leaving, I'm done.
yeah,
Then I started getting the messages. Oh, have I done anything to upset you? If not, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving. Because you have to keep things simple sometimes. Being codependent, sometimes you feel like you have to explain everything. If you are
worst
done,
thing
you
you
are
can do.
done.
Worst thing
Yeah,
you can do. Yeah,
yeah. So I said, I'm done. And as the month went on, I was still getting messages saying, oh, can you come back? And in fact, he finally messaged me how much I was really meant to get paid.
yeah,
Now, this is how I knew I was improving. Even though I saw that, I thought, oh, that's nice. I felt good.
yeah,
But my answer was no.
yeah,
So it was from those moments that I started seeing changes within myself that, you know what, it comes sometimes, it comes back, but
yeah.
you improve as time goes on.
You hit the limit,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you hit a wall, like your situation,
Yeah.
you get fed up, and then when things go back to normal, your normal self comes back.
Yeah.
But as time goes on and you deal with it, your normal self gets stronger and stronger
Yeah.
to the point where you can still be kind, but you're not gonna be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fascinating what you're saying, that when people like that guy, and even in my experiences, when they're messaging you months afterwards, it confirms to you, yeah, that you were an awesome worker or an awesome person, yeah. Because if you weren't, these people will not be trying forever and ever to get you back, to do the job or whatever. But when they're trying to get you back, it's not because they really value you. They value what you did for them and they want that back. So if you do go back, yeah, the same thing will happen again.
100%. And it's interesting because they know who you really are.
Yeah.
They've observed you. And sometimes that's why it can be challenging when you're changing in front of someone who you've been dependent on for ages for your happiness.
Yeah.
Changing in front of them can be difficult because sometimes they might not take you seriously
At all.
They're looking at you thinking, yeah,
we've been here before. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've made those mistakes before because we've been strong in a decision.
Yeah.
Next thing you go back on your words.
Yeah.
You know, because yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah.
And sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say on top of that, what makes that harder is that you mentioned it before. When you confide, if you confide too early and you tell too much, you're literally giving that person ammunition or how to treat you and what to do. You're giving them information on you.
Yeah.
So that's why the guy could have said, what's your mom going to think about this?
Exactly.
Because you've given him that information to store, to use in the future.
100%.
If you get out of line.
100%. And isn't it interesting, Adrian, because whether it comes to breaking up with someone and they stop, because you've been with them for a while and they know certain information about you, they bring it up. And sometimes it can affect you because it's true what they are saying.
Yeah.
It's true. That information you gave them is true. And if you're not careful, you could let that play on your mind.
Yeah.
Then you could look at them. But then that's why when you make a decision and you're working towards changing that kind of personality, when you say no, try and keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Because the more you say, the more it's used against you.
They will.
And, you know, go on.
No, finish.
Yeah, because I've always thought saying no also had to mean that you explain everything. So for instance, as simple as someone has invited me somewhere. I cannot make it because something has come up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could just put simply, I'm so sorry, an emergency has come up, I cannot show up.
Yeah.
That is enough. If the person is a genuine person, they know that, listen, for this person to cancel is something. But then if you're a codependent person, you do feel like you have to say, I cannot make it because yesterday when I woke up, then this happened and that happened.
But you know why you do that sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you feel like, first things, you feel like you cannot say no. So you have to have a long justification so that the person understands. But on top of that, depending on where you are, or who's around you, you do it because you know that if you were to say, this is something I don't want to do, you won't be listened to. They'll be like, no, you're fine. Forget it. You should, you can do it, you know? And then you'll be like, well, no, I can't. And they'll be like, but do you not want to do this for me or for the country or, you know, for your religion or whatever? Yeah. And then you're like, yeah, I guess, cool. And they know that and they use it, you know? So instead of, that's why you adapt to it and you go, oh, I can't do it because, you know, and you start speaking for like half an hour. Doesn't matter, you know, because what will happen is you're giving more information for them to use against you. They're listening to pick up what you're saying to go, but if that's the case, then that means that you can do this or do that.
100%. Exactly. And it's interesting because when you give reasons as to why you can't make something, they can come up with another solution.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have to work around it to make it. So let's say they really want you to be there. They'll be like, okay, if you can't make it and it's only 6 o'clock now.
Yeah.
We're going to change it to 8:30 so that you could finish what you're doing so that you can show up.
Yeah.
That is what giving too much information can do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes saying no doesn't require a long explanation. It's
or
just
any
no.
at all.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you believe in yourself. Yeah. When you say yes, it's yes.
Yeah.
When you say no, it's no.
Yeah.
You know, you're confident in yourself. You're not saying no just to be rude, because like, I don't think I can today. It could be as simple as you're not in the right frame of mind.
Could be.
And it could be that simple. But if you keep explaining it to people, they'll be like, oh, what do you mean you're not in the right frame of mind?
Yeah.
But personally, you know who you are.
Yeah. And that shows you that that person does not care about you as a person.
No.
They care about what you can do or what they can get.
100%.
Because if you said to me like, yo, I can't do this podcast today because, you know, I'm tired. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, you tired. Get some rest.
And it's happened before.
Yeah.
There's times where we haven't been able to record because you are not in the right frame of mind. And when you said it, I didn't need to keep digging at it and saying, what is it? How comes? But you know what I'm saying? It's just interesting. But, you know, we've spoken about how much you feel, you know, looking at this, you know, the best way to explain is that as you improve on not being so reliant on people, how much, you know, it makes you feel. And my personal experience is I'm beginning to feel a lot more relaxed.
A lot more relaxed.
I don't feel like, because when you're codependent, you do rely a lot. 1 minute, sorry. Yeah. So you do rely a lot on people. So then you find yourself in situations where you do lose friends as well.
Of course. But that's the thing. They weren't really in the first place.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing that when you're changing that side of you lose certain people in your lives?
Yeah, of course.
You know, because just like we spoke about in the first podcast, I was doing a lot of favors for this man. I was constantly doing jobs for him at a low rate, something that I shouldn't have done from the get-go for such a low rate. And then when the moment came where I thought, no, I'm not having this.
Yeah.
The friendship is not the same anymore.
Yeah.
But the change comes with losing so many things, because if you want to feel lighter, because what does codependency do? It makes you feel heavy.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly thinking of ways to impress people.
Yeah.
But when you let that go, you feel light.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And the people that know this, they try to add the weight back on.
Yeah.
By making you feel guilty or you know, saying that, you know, implying that you're a bad person in some way, selfish. If it's like politics, unpatriotic, you know what I mean? If it's, let's even in religion, you're wanting it. I used to hear a lot in church, you don't have the Holy Spirit. No, you know what I mean? They always use something to make you feel lesser than and put the weight back on so they can regain control.
Yeah. Because
it's not about care, it's about control. You know, when people do that stuff, when you release that stuff, there's a weight off of you, but it benefits you, but it doesn't benefit the people who benefit from using you. So their job is to keep you low. Yeah. And if you try to go high, they say, oh, you're a bad person for doing that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is why I like what you said earlier when we were talking, when you said in life, you have to be willing to be the villain.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to be the villain, you will feel like you need to go around explaining to everyone on how great you are. So even if someone is going to go around spreading bad information about you, you don't always have to feel like you have to go to every single person to say, this is not how I am. This is not who I am. So you have to be willing to say, if people are going to think that I'm a bad person for saying no or for not trying to depend on them for my happiness, that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell them I'm the worst person on the planet. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because we know that the older versions would have hated that. We want to be liked, loved, admired, respected. Yeah. Hence why we've been codependent in the first place. So it is a great tool for people to use against you, you know, like great tool.
Yeah, because Adrian, I mean, going back, because we need to talk on the positive side as well. I mean, we've touched on positive sides,
Yeah.
but isn't it great when you're working towards that way and you are finally, I mean, I've seen the change in you myself.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Same with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen you call me, made a decision that, look, this is not good for me. This relationship is not good for me. This job is not good for me. And you've still stuck. And then I'll call you and you're like, oh, you're still there. And I'm thinking, why are you still there? But now,
yeah,
even a recent experience you faced, the way you're able to stand to your ground, I was very, very impressed. I'm like,
yeah,
you know, and it's nice to see.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's very nice to see, if I'm being honest with you, you know.
It is, and it feels nice. It's almost like Neo, when Neo, you know, it's literally like Neo at the end of the Matrix. He had to die to see the world for what it was.
100%.
And that's the thing, when we figuratively die, or we go through something so many times that you hit a wall, it just opens your eyes, and then you start to see the code. You go, oh wow, that's what that is. Oh, okay. And then when they come, you're like, oh, just powering it, you know, just dodging, like, oh, okay. You know.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, there's a certain person in my life where I used to have to contact in order for them to reply to me.
Yeah.
If I didn't contact them, they will never contact me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one day I thought to myself, I don't think I want to do this anymore. In fact, I'm just going to leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And they ended up contacting me, but they couldn't keep it going as much. They couldn't keep it going the way I did.
Yeah.
And I am still. I don't feel any way about it.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, you have to be willing. Believing in yourself. If it means that someone is going to think that you're a bad person, let it be.
Yeah. And don't believe everything that people tell you, because people tell you things to control. You know, people, like, for instance, if somebody tells me that I'm selfish and they say that, oh, because you're selfish, you will never have friends or whatever. You know what you should do? Go, self-reflect. Am I really selfish, or is this person using manipulation? You know, look internally, go, oh, well, that's not the case. I've helped this person 99% of the time. Oh, so they're using manipulation. 100%. So what they're saying isn't true. And the fact that you won't get friends, or this is going to happen to you if you do this, and yada, yada, yada. Oh, no, it's nonsense. It's manipulating you as a person and your faults and weaknesses for their own benefit. And listen, sit back and look at the world that we live in. That's how the world runs, right?
Yeah.
Politics, that's what they do. If you're a part of a political party, yeah, let's say you're a part of the right wing, there's no way you can say anything that's pro-left without people jumping in your throat and saying you're a traitor or this or that, or saying if you don't change your opinion, we'll shove you to one side. Yeah, 100%. You're not a good person, whatever.
Yeah,
that's how the world operates, because like, we need to control you. Yeah. You cannot think for yourself. We will think for you. We will tell you what your personality is.
100%.
And the moment you start to look at your own personality, you're a bad person. You're not supposed to do that. No, 100%. Don't do it.
Yeah. And it comes in tribalism, isn't it?
Tribalism, pure tribalism.
100%. And, you know, family members have ditched some of their relatives purely because they just feel a little bit different. You know, it could be anywhere. I'm just, you know, but isn't it important that believing in yourself and knowing who you truly are can help you avoid so many pain in your life, because then you are not relying on everyone to tell you who you are and what makes you happy.
Exactly. And you cannot be steered easily, because one of the biggest dangers about being codependent is you can be steered easily. con men, yeah. Let me put it this way, like I use the example of casino, yeah. Con people throughout history have been preying on vulnerable people, you know, to get them to join pyramid schemes with the the promise of having an illustrious life, or if you follow this party, it's gonna bring you everything that you want. You know what I mean? Like lower taxes and yada yada yada. In, should I say religion? In religion, yeah.
Yeah. Talk, Adrian.
In
Talk. You know you could see. Yeah.
yeah. In religion is like, it's like, we can offer you this and this, but you have to do this and this. And also, in the world that we live in, is a world that takes advantage of vulnerable people and then gaslights them to keep them in place, make them question their reality. Yeah, tell them that things are going to go horribly if they don't, you know, keep.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny you say that, because even when I was leaving the first job I was telling you about,
Yeah,
you know what they were saying to me? There's no jobs out there. You never find anything. And
yeah,
if you are codependent, you think, oh, maybe I should just stay.
yeah,
I should probably just stay. And
yeah,
guess what? Within 8 weeks, I was in the next job.
yeah.
This is where you have to be careful. But Adrian, today's discussion has been amazing.
It has been. It's been
Um,
a good one.
I've really enjoyed it, and wanted to say to you, the audience, if you've got any comments, feel free to comment below, subscribe and like.
Yeah,
We'd like to hear what you think as well, even your personal experiences as well. So
exactly.
yeah.
Now
So
press the notification button to get notifications for new videos.
IG.
We tend to dice these videos up into little chunks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And yeah, recommend it to others, because this is a subject that has affected a lot of people. So yep.
A lot. And people need to wake up.
100. My G.
Till next time.
Till next time. The watcher.